Come up today on Eagle Eyes on Tech. Facebook has cut its costs drastically and then called it free speech. We'll get into details into what that means. Nvidia admits its new GPUs just kind of make up their own performance metrics. Yeah, we'll get into the big Nvidia controversy. Dell comes up with the dumbest, and I do mean the dumbest, computer naming scheme ever. And of course, it's CES week. We take a look at the good, the weird, and the verge. All that and more coming today on Eagle Eye. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or it's 2 a.m. Good morning. This is Eagle Eyes on Tech. I am Eagle Falcon. It's CES week, and for no reason in particular, I want to start off with a sports proverb. If your crew cannot beat the Bears, you are not going to go far in the playoffs. I'm sorry, I am just incredibly disappointed in my own football team. I just watched them barely play a competent game and just absolutely embarrass themselves on a national stage. And all I can do is just shake my head. I hate the fact that it ended exactly as I thought it would. And that's all you got to say about that. If you cannot beat the Bears, you're not going to go far. In any case, it is CES week. We have a few stories that are not CES related, though. We're going to start off with two little Facebook stories. One being kind of out of left field. This was one that I don't think a whole lot of people kind of expected. This is Meta, aka Facebook, bringing eBay listings onto the Facebook marketplace. Yeah, it's just kind of, really? Of all things? Now, granted, it's been a hot minute since I've gone really any sort of major eBay shopping, but for the most part, it feels kind of off just because Facebook Marketplace has kind of just been like, it's kind of tried to have this like high class Craigslist sort of vibe to it, whereas eBay is just online auctions. eBay's just always had the vibe of like an online garage sale, while Facebook Marketplace and by extension Craigslist have the vibe of I need to move some stuff now. So this is a test they're starting to do. As far as I'm aware, this is going to be a partnered program between eBay and Facebook, which is a smart move. If it is just Meta just out of nowhere deciding that, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and let you post eBay listings on Facebook, I don't know how eBay and by extension PayPal are going to feel about that. So we'll have to see how this goes down. Admittedly, the details right now are kind of scarce because most tech outlets are not looking at eBay right now. They are focused on two things, one of which is the other Meta story, and that is the fact that Meta is ditching all of their third-party fact checkers. What they are doing instead is that they are introducing a Twitter-esque community notes system, meaning they are crowdsourcing all of their fact checking. Now, they went ahead and posted this out pretty much exactly as you would have expected, that, oh, our fact checkers are a bit biased, which, not gonna lie, they kind of are. And that, of course, that no system is perfect, but we feel that the community note system is a good step forward to allowing free speech on the platforms. In addition, they are no longer, and I feel this is more a side effect rather than a goal, going to be censoring hot button topics on Facebook, which I'm not going to lie, they weren't really doing all that well in the first place. So they're going ahead, having all fact checking just be done by community notes now, and no longer paying fact checkers on their platforms. This includes Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. People are saying that this is a huge win for free speech and that this is all because Trump is getting into the White House. You want my take on this? Here's my take on this. There are two reasons they're doing this. One, community notes is the only thing that Twitter has done recently that people are happy about. And two, it is a massive cost-saving measure. There's no reason for Facebook not to do this. This isn't about some kind of all of a sudden huge change of feel over at Meta or Facebook. You have to understand something. Facebook is a very simple company. Okay? Facebook does not care about any kind of global political agenda. Facebook does not care about your or anyone's political affiliation. Facebook doesn't care about any of that. You know what Facebook cares about? Facebook cares about one thing and one thing only. And you can probably very easily guess what it is. Yeah, 100% of chat is correct at this point. At this moment, until some sarcastic guy comes in here and says something stupid like the lizard people invasion. Yeah, it's the money. That's all Facebook has ever cared about. That is what this is all about. They don't care about what other people are telling them to do. They don't care about like some sort of grand political agenda. What they care about is how big is the money going to be. They want to know what their bottom line is and how many digits it's going to have. And by God, if they can go ahead and save a couple 100,000 by not paying a bunch of fact checkers, by God, why wouldn't you? That's what I believe it is. And, you know, maybe this is some kind of massive shift. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg has suddenly gone, you know, all pro freedom of speech, all pro Trumper, pick your freaking political narrative. Maybe that is the case. Maybe I'm wrong. But I just got to go based on history. Facebook has shown a history of just flip-flopping whenever it suits their needs. Facebook has had a history of not caring about any sort of morality, considering the fact that since the dawn of time, they have sold everyone's information poorly, and they've done it in secret. There's no reason for me to believe they're any sort of arbiter of all things that are good and truthful in the world. There's no reason for me to believe they're any sort of arbiter of freedom of speech very suddenly. It's about the money. It's plain and simple. If they believe this shift is going to make them some more money, so much the better. That's really all there is to it in my book. Now then, with that said, it is time to get to the real story of the week. What practically every single tab I have on this web browser is all about. CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. We're going to start with Microsoft. Microsoft put on a massive keynote, and you want me to go ahead and summarize the keynote for you? Here is the Microsoft keynote in a nutshell. Okay? AI teams, AI Copilot. That is it. You have now been informed. This is the entire freaking Microsoft keynote. It is all touting the power of AI in Windows PCs. And guess what? If you saw the keynote, you will have learned one major thing. And that is the fact that AI is the future and that all things AI will make your life better. I'm being sarcastic, of course. It didn't give you a single blasted good reason as to how AI is going to help you 100% of the time, and that your time using AI is not, in fact, going to go ahead and guarantee any sort of time saving whatsoever, because anything AI does, you have to go and double check anyway to make sure it didn't hallucinate and bork it up. Surprise! Yeah, that's the entire Microsoft keynote. And it's no surprise considering the fact that Windows 11 is just basically AI, the operating system. That is all it is now. Heck, even on my Windows 10 computer, I have a Copilot button now. I don't even know what it does. I just hit it, and a thing comes up that tells me to sign on for it. And if I type in, what the actual hell are you? It just goes ahead and gives me generic nothingness. And then I go ahead and type it something obscene, and the answer is no. But that is what Microsoft had to say. So basically, I can summarize it by saying nothing new. However, we got over to not really a keynote, but we do get an announcement out of the HDMI forum, and that is a new HDMI standard. HDMI forum has announced HDMI 2.2, which basically boils down to it bigger bandwidth, it capable of higher frame rate and probably 8K. Like, what is it capable of? I actually missed it. New specification includes a Ultra A6 HDMI cable supporting up to 96 gigabits per second bandwidth, and that's all they're going to tell us. I got to go and dig further information. Basically, this whole thing means something along the lines of like 8K footage can go through it at high frame rates, possibly up to 120 FPS, something that's well beyond what computers can do nowadays. And the question is, why? Who cares? Nothing can push that. But the thing is that you want these standards to be way over the top so that when the capability does come for equipment to push those kind of numbers, you have ports and standards that can support it. So there you go. One less bottleneck in everything. Even though, let's be honest, the bottleneck is still the potato that you're running. Or maybe the bottleneck is actually Qualcomm. But hopefully Qualcomm will get around that. Snapdragon Series X that they're showing is trying to redefine the PC platform, and they're trying to do this with mini desktop form factors. That was their big push at CES this year. The concept of ARM-powered Windows mini PCs. And, you know, it'll be interesting, I guess. Honestly, not a whole lot of people really talking about these. There's just the announcement that Qualcomm, and by extension Snapdragon, is pushing for these sort of devices, these mini desktops, but not a whole lot about why you should get one or any that look good. They're just kind of there. So I guess we'll just look forward to Asus, Acer, Dell, HP, and Lenovo all pushing these sort of things out, and probably also including Samsung and a few others that you can think of. So there you go. More of that. Meanwhile, Intel announces that they have a new Intel Core Ultra 200 series that, well, they're actually not going to go ahead and meet the Copilot Plus compatibility and are actually kind of disappointing right out the gate. But Intel assures you that they're cooking, trust us. That's about all we got out of Intel, is just the assurance that they're working on something. What is that something? No one knows quite yet, but they're working on something. Oh, well, what are you going to do? This is really going to be the year of AMD computers are bust. The only thing Intel did confirm is that their GPUs, which right now look like the best thing Intel makes besides probably SSDs or something like that, they are not going to be touching or killing their GPU division. That is still going to be moving forward. Now, unfortunately, Intel was the only one of the big three that had no new GPU news to show, which is unfortunate. I would have loved to have seen what the higher end or lower end of the new Intel Battle Mages could do, but it is what it is. It is still a good assurance that, in fact, Intel GPUs are in fact going to be here to stay. Now, AMD announced quite a bit. First off, they showed off their brand new Ryzen 9 9950X3D, which is now going to be the world's strongest and most powerful consumer grade CPU at 16 cores, 32 threads, and a maximum boost frequency of 5.7 gigahertz, 3D cache. This thing is going to be an absolute monster and overkill for what most average consumers need. And realistically, only the biggest content creators or people who are going ahead and doing high-end workloads that don't want to splurge on actual workstation equipment should get this. And yes, I kind of do want one. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of do. Unfortunately, there's only $4 in my pocket, so that's going to unfortunately not be high enough for this price tag, which is going to end up being somewhere along the lines of, we have no idea. But they did promise this will be available in Q1 of 2025. They also announced there's going to be a 9900X 3D. That is going to be a 12-core, 24-thread part. That's also very respectable. A slightly lower clock speed at only max 5.5 boost. So, you know, it is what it's going to be. Now, you notice when I went through all of this, all the slides for the keynote that were nicely here, I'm not touching these graphs. I'm not going to lie. I don't care. I don't care about these graphs, and you shouldn't either. Wait for independent reviews to test these. Now, AMD also introduced their Fire Range X3D mobile processors. Now, these suckers are just going to be just the CPU. Apparently, we're going to see up to 16 cores at only 54 watts, which is, not going to lie, it is pretty impressive. I'd love to see some benchmarks of laptops like that. But this will also be available in the first half of 2025. So you can expect these around, what would we assume? Like, first half, what, May, June? I feel like that's probably what we can expect. We're also going to be seeing some RDNA 4 GPUs. This, of course, being confirmed as the RX 9070, both the XT and non-XT variant. Yes, it is confirmed. AMD is literally just stealing Nvidia's marketing strategy. I want to take my... I don't want to support violence, but man, the guy in charge of naming over at AMD really annoys me. That much I can say for certain. So it is what it is. They also showed off their new Ryzen Z2 processors. These are going to be for handhelds only, or intended for handhelds only. And now here's what's infuriating though. There's 3 variations of the Ryzen Z2 platform. By the way, these are intended for the Steam clone devices, the Steam Deck clone devices. All right. Here's what's infuriating though. There's 3 of them, right? The Z2 Extreme, the Z2, and the Z2 Go. The only one of these 3 that is using new architecture on both the CPU and GPU is the Z2 Extreme. If it's rocking the Z2 or Z2 Go, it is at least 1 generation behind on both CPU and potentially GPU. Why? Why are you like this? Why would you do this? Why are you out there to just absolutely drive us insane? Like, this is actually, I would consider this deceptive marketing. Come with a new brand name, the Z2, and intentionally selling older tech under the new name. I hate it. I hate it. Now, here's the other thing. They're showing in these slides the kind of device these are for. They show the Lenovo Legion Go, the Asus ROG Ally, and the Valve Steam Deck. The Valve Steam Deck does not use a Ryzen Z2 or even a Z1 processor. The Valve Steam Deck uses a custom AMD SoC. Still. So, yeah, this is also a little deceptive. In fact, actually, hardware-wise, the Valve Steam Deck is looking long in the tooth. I'm not going to lie. I still prefer the Steam Deck over the other ones, just because SteamOS is very light, very efficient compared to Windows on a handheld. But, you know, this is a little annoying, not going to lie. But it is what it is. Now, we also now have the AMD Ryzen AI 300 series. Remember how earlier we had... Oh, never mind. We're getting that later. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. The Ryzen AI 300 series. All right. Ignore the AI part. We don't care about that. We care about the 300 series, because here's what's wild about these things. These are intended for laptops. The performance that these can push out is nuts, because these suckers, actually these regular ones, these AI ones, are just to be the CPU. These AI Max ones, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, these AI Max ones are the actual closest thing we're going to have to an SoC, because these are going to have a dedicated GPU on board. Like, these will have a GPU on board, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. They don't really talk about it. These, though, have a real GPU on board. Like, you throw one of these into a laptop, it might as well have the power of a mid-range game console. This I'm actually legitimately interested in. These are going to have up to 16 current Zen 5 performance cores and up to 40 RDNA 3.5 compute units. I don't believe that's the current one, right? I want to scroll back up here real quick. Yeah, it's going to be the soon to be previous gen GPU, which is still not bad. And 40 RDNA compute units puts it about on par with kind of a high-end 50 series to 60 series GPU, since they're all now going to use Nvidia class terminology. Like, this is all very impressive. It's basically going to be like having a little PS5 in a laptop. Whether the game's going to be optimized to use that kind of hardware is yet to be seen, and how well it's going to perform, because on paper this stuff sounds amazing. The thought of actually having game console level performance in your laptop without it being, you know, a dual chip system that has the battery life of a potato, very appealing, because these suckers are only expected to consume up to, what is the TDP? Up to 120 watts. 120 watts is a lot. However, when you compare that older gaming laptops had a 120 watt GPU paired with a 45 watt CPU, and then had a power brick of 300 watts, 120 watts for the whole SoC is really good. And I'm not going to lie, I cannot wait to see if this kind of laptop processor performs nearly as well on paper, or in the real world, as it does on paper. It's going to be very, very impressive stuff. Also, for some reason, we have new Ryzen 200 series. Someone in chat said their poor battery. These new laptops, though, running on this, you're going to look at double to triple the battery life. Like, where you used to get 40 minutes of game time on your laptop, you can expect up to 2 hours. You might even get more, depending on how the efficiency is. I kid you not. These 300 series Ryzen laptop CPUs, even though they have AI written in them, oh, they're intended for AI. Pfft, who cares? I want to know, how well do they play Crysis? I want to know how well they can run OBS and some other stuff on the side. I want to know how well they run a workload that is real and not generated by ChatGPT. That's what I care about. And for that, we're going to have to wait until probably close to summer to find out more. Also, we're going to have to do Ryzen 200 series laptop CPUs. So there's some new, cheaper last gen ones. Who cares? And that's pretty much it. The rest of it is just them stroking their entire ego. All in all, a lot of hopeful things for AMD, not a lot of answers. Because if you notice, there is not one single thing in all 54 pages of this keynote. There is not a price listed for any of this. No estimates, no nothing. Just a bunch of graphs, hopes, and dreams. And the graphs, well, I don't trust. No one should trust. Anyone with a functional brain should not trust these graphs. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes down the pike. That being said, IGN actually managed to, for somehow, I don't know how, but IGN actually managed to They actually managed to benchmark the unreleased 9070. They actually managed to, for once in their blasted life, actually conduct actual journalism, which I'm not going to lie, for IGN standards, this is a massive step up considering their usual expectation is to fart. That is usually what I expect from IGN, is to just fart into the wind. Now, these performance numbers we're seeing out of the 9070 early on are pretty okay. They pretty much compare right on with a RTX 4080 Super is what we're kind of seeing here, which is not bad. It's not bad at all. So, depending on the price, it might be a good buy. But again, welcome to CES, where you're going to hear me say, we'll have to wait and see all the freaking time. We're going to take our first break here. When we come back, we're going to talk about Nvidia and all the things they did and didn't do. We'll be back. Welcome back, Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. By the way, as expected, Nvidia went ahead and announced their brand new GPUs. You are never going to guess what they're called. You're never going to guess. It's impossible to guess. There's definitely not a set pattern that Nvidia has followed for the last 3 generations. No. There's no logical yeah, okay. They announced the 50 series. They announced 4 GPUs. The RTX 5090, 5080, 5070 Ti. No, we are not calling it the 5070 Ti. That is a stupid name. And the RTX 5070. The 5090 is, I'm not going to lie, the cards are actually very impressive. I actually think I forgot to include a graphic of them. Nope, I do have a graphic of them. Never mind. We'll get into the actual design of them, but we have some graphs right here. We have the 5090 that generically is somehow 2x faster than the 4090 for some reason. The 5080 that is barely 2x faster in some games. The 5070 Ti that is barely 2x faster than the 4070 Ti. And the 5070 that's also somehow 2x better than the 4070. You want to know why I'm just breezing through these graphs? Because they mean nothing. All right. These graphs don't matter because look at the benchmarks. It's a comparative random 1x to 2x. Who cares? It could mean flipping anything. What really matters, though, are slides like this one. Yes, I did grab these pictures from a friend that was talking with me during the keynote because it was easier. That is why there's some graphics on there that don't make sense. It is the bold-faced claim where they say that the RTX 4070, the cheapest one, is going to have the same performance of a 4090. I don't like swearing on my own show, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Bull pie. I didn't want to reach over for the swear button. I'm too lazy. Bull. There's no freaking way. There's no way that the 5070 is going to have 4090 performance. There's just no way. You want to know how I know? It's that we'll get to why I know this is a BS claim in a bit. All right. But just to show where their mindset is, I want to go to this picture right here. The actual pricing. The 5090 is going to cost $2,000. The 5080 is going to be $1,000. The 5070 Ti is going to be $750. And the 5070 is going to be $550. What's incredible is that this slide also shows the AI performance benchmark. This is how rotten Nvidia's brain is. Keep in mind, this is at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. That's where we're at. Where consumers, the average person, go to learn about the latest products. not AI enthusiasts, not enterprise nuts. Everyone in the audience is either media or influencers. That's pretty much who's out in the audience watching this. You might have a few business executives trying to make deals, but that has pretty much gone to the wayside. That's how CES started, for businesses to talk to each other, to collaborate, and to go ahead and make dealings based on new ideas and innovations. But that's pretty much gone to the wayside. This is a media-focused event. The media doesn't care about AI performance because the media is struggling to keep their job from being taken by AI. How many of you watching this podcast right now actually care about the AI performance of these cards? Now, those of you who are about to go ahead and sarcastically say me, come on, let's be real for a minute. No, you don't. Stop being stupid. I believe in your ability to not be stupid. You know who you are. No. I can see you typing it out. I can see you typing me and raising your hand. No, stop it. Stop lying to all of us. This kind of sums up where Nvidia's brain is. That everything is AI. In fact, they tried to go ahead and push the measure that this sucker is generating 3 AI generated frames to every natural frame. That is the kind of metric they're trying to push, which gets extra funny when you go to Nvidia's own page and get a graph of trying to tote out the RTX 5090 with DLSS 4. This graph is impressive. This graph is stunning. This is allegedly, according to Nvidia, the benchmarks of the RTX 5090 with DLSS 3 and DLSS 4 and DLSS off. This sucker is trying to say that at max settings, according to the FPS on the side, at granted 4K 24 hertz, Alan Wake 2 cannot even get to 30 FPS. It needs the crutch of DLSS 3 and DLSS 4 to get up to these impressive numbers of 150 and 250 frames per second. Granted, this is at an absurdly high frame rate at 4K, but this is what a $2,000 GPU does. It needs the fake frames to do this. Someone in chat also points out that the monitor needs to be 240 hertz and the GPU needs to actually put out 240 hertz, which is what this dotted line is that you may or not be able to see. That needs to get above this. That only this benchmark is achievable with DLSS 4 AI generated frames. This GPU generation is going to be wild because the fact that it needs AI this badly to perform and beat out their old GPUs is staggering. That is wild. I'm not going to lie. It's, this is really a shocking omission by Nvidia. Now, I do want to talk about the GPU design for a minute. So the RTX 5090, the Founders Edition, is a 2-slot GPU. What's more impressive is the fact that the GPU uses 2 fans that blow air straight through the GPU on both sides. The actual PCB that actually holds the GPU and electron components are in the middle of the card and use breakout cables to put the ports and the PCI connector where they should be. They cooked hard with this GPU design, and I'm not gonna lie, if all of the Founders Edition are like this, that's insane, and I don't know how board partners are gonna compete with that. Like, this is legitimately an incredibly good design for a GPU, and I don't know how it gets beat. I really don't. Besides, just straight up going full on water cooling. Someone in chat says you see the aftermarket designs. Gamers Nexus already did a piece on it. I didn't see Gamers Nexus on it. I did see Linus. The aftermarket ones are good. Here's the thing. They're still massive. They're good. They're impressive. They are still massive. This 5090 is so small you can put into an SFX. You can put it into a very small form factor. Someone in chat said some of these third-party cards already have fans obstructed. Oh no! RIP. Yeah. Meanwhile, though, after Nvidia admitted that their new GPUs need AI to function, they did announce that they are going to be bringing GeForce Now to the Steam Deck. So that's a thing that will now happen. So, what a great feature. In addition, Nvidia also announced Groot, which is a blueprint to accelerate humanoid robotics development, a thing that consumer electronics greatly care about. I'm lying, of course. No one is sure what this means, other than the fact that, in fact, the naming guy over at Nvidia may, in fact, be a Marvel plant. Actually, maybe the naming guy at Nvidia actually just is straight up Groot. He can be Marvel. Groot's kind of plant-like. Actual Marvel plant. No, because they actually said other things other than I am Groot. All right, that can't be it. That can't be it. All right, we cooked too hard with this one. So we can look forward to Nvidia after AI goes by the wayside to instead shift over to robotics for raisins. So we'll have to see how well that goes for Nvidia. Meanwhile, though, Dell has angered me. See, I have a weird relationship with Dell, all right? So, for those who don't know, I used to be a computer refurbisher. I would take off-lease computers, whether it be Dells, HPs, Lenovo's, IBM's, ThinkPads that we still think of different from Lenovo and IBM for some reason, but they were just that good. Sometimes if we were stupid, we'd pick up an Acer or a Gateway, pick up a Fujitsu occasionally, and then restore them to good condition and then sell them for profit. And one of the things from Dell is that you learn very quickly the various naming of their product lines and what they mean. Inspiron is their cheap consumer accessible stuff that, you know, it's cheap, but it's going to break. You need to be very delicate with it. There's XPS that's a bit more robust and a bit sleeker, but more targeted at consumers still. You have the Vostros that are the low bottom barrel pro lines. You have the Dell Latitudes that basically are just tanks. They will never, ever frickin' die and are absolute units. And then you have my personal favorite from Dell, the Dell Precision line. Oh, man. I still use a Dell Precision. I have used nothing but Dell Precisions for my own personal laptop, except for a while when I used an HP Z series. These are mobile workstations. These are the ones that are meant for CAD designers, that are meant for workstation applications. They are meant to be high-end performance monsters that just don't quit unless you do something stupid with them. All these Dell lineups have a history. I'm sure a bunch of you have heard, oh, just go grab a Dell Optiplex. That's their business line towers. Just go grab one of those, throw a 3050 in it, and bam, you got a cheap gaming computer on the cheap. You can go ahead and play League with it. You've heard all kinds of things like that. I know Linus did a $69 PC. It was based on a Dell Optiplex. Surprise, surprise. You know, there's plenty of these suckers out there. They are all dead. Straight up. They're all dead. Dell Inspiron, dead. Dell Vostro, dead. Dell Dimension, dead. Dell XPS, dead. Dell Latitude, dead. Dell Precision, dead. The only name brand within the Dell lineup that is still alive is Alienware. Instead, Dell has changed all of their product names to the following. They have changed their product names to Dell, Dell Pro, and Dell Pro Max. And then inside these three categories, there is also Base, Plus, and Premium. Why is this the year of brain dead marketing? AMD, fine. Your brain has been rotten and dead for the longest time. All right? You guys couldn't name anything to save your life. AMD, you've proven that, all right? Phone companies, okay, fine. You're just copying Apple. I get that. You want to go ahead and just make the Samsung S22 Ultra because you don't have an original thought in your entire brain, despite the fact you want to be anti-Apple from the get-go. All right, fine. You disappoint me, Samsung, but what else is new? Dell, why are you this freaking stupid? Seriously. Why are you the dumbest people that ever blighted the planet? This is beyond stupid. Yeah, I run a high-end engineering firm. I have 300 of the best CAD engineers working for my firm. I need to order 300 Dell Pro Maxes in the Plus configuration. And I would like a total of 60 of the Dell viewing box monitors, the Max ones. You ever go to a drive-through and you see something you want to try, but it has the dumbest name ever? So you kind of half say the name and then just add thing to the end of it. That's what this feels like. This is stupid. This is incredibly, incredibly stupid. I cannot stress how much I hate this. I don't even care what the products are. I don't even care. They're probably fine. There's probably some decent upgrades in there. I'm sure as they get launched and actually start hitting the shelves with these Pro Max and Dell Pro whatever, as be like, oh, those are kind of cool and some decent ones. I want my brain cells back. I have lost brain cells reading this, and I'm never going to get them back now. Dell, why? Why are you killing my brain? Someone in chat says soon there'll be a Dell Air. As long as there isn't a Dell Air Pro Max Plus Premium. I don't condone violence, but just, there's things I want to do with this freaking wrist rest. But I don't condone violence. I am going to be a peaceful, angry person behind a microphone. I can't wait until someone tells me they need a laptop and I have to go over to the place where I'd go ahead and get all these off-lease laptops. That's like, what do you got? We have a Dell Pro base. What model? Gen 1. What's the evident? I don't know. We looked at the name and we're too stupid. Someone in chat says there'll be a Dell Air and a Dell Studio. You know, I would actually accept that a little bit more. Because at least Dell Studio tells me, oh, it's a studio computer. It's intended for this very specific kind of work case. Because Dell Pro Max could be anything. Especially when you look at Apple and the way they use Pro. Because you know what Pro means in the Apple world? Pro means it doesn't suck and is stupidly expensive. That's what Pro means in the Apple world. And I don't want to live in a world where that's what it means in Dell world too. Oh, why'd you get a Latitude equivalent? Oh, because I wanted the one that didn't suck. all I can do is just shake my head. That's just all I can do. And I want nothing to do with it. I don't even want to talk about the rest of it. I have another slide that's just all the other changes Dell made. I don't even want to talk about it. You know what? I'll just discover the Dell changes as they come out. I don't even care. I got better things to do with my life than entertain the Dell friggin' Max Pro. I do legitimately feel dumber. In other news, Asus revealed a lot of new RTX 50 based gaming laptops, as well as ones powered by Intel and AMD's newest mobile platform. How will they perform? We'll find out when they come out. For the most part, you know, there's some interesting stuff. Like, personally, the one that stands out to me the most is the ROG Flow Z13, a 13-inch gaming tablet that has a keyboard and kickstand built into it. Just because, you know, it's a different form factor. I'd be interested in seeing how I wouldn't mind having one if I didn't have to pay full price for it. I have a feeling that's what everyone's standard is going to be. It's like, I'd give that a shot, but I don't want to pay the most likely $3,000 it's going to demand. Like, how much is this thing going to have? Up to 128 gigabytes of RAM, and we don't know what else. Otherwise, the rest of it is just, your basic thick boys, your thin boys, your tablet boys, and then your sleek and discreet boys. Your normal basic sort of Asus laptop roundup. In addition, the Acer Nitro Blaze 11 is something that was shown off, an 11-inch tablet with detachable controllers that make people believe that, in fact, yes, it is a Switch killer. If you think that Acer has made a Switch killer, you might actually be a little mentally ill. No, it's not. It is not a Switch killer. It is not even a Switch competitor. You want to know why it is not a Switch competitor or a Switch killer? Because the main reason you get a Switch is to play Nintendo games. You know what you're not doing on one of these? Playing a Nintendo game legally. And if you're going to go ahead and do it illegally, then guess what? You are never going to buy a Switch in the first place. Can we please stop pretending that Steam Deck and Steam Deck competitors are Switch killers? They're not. They are not Switch killers. Stop trying to say that the Steam Deck is trying to kill the Nintendo Switch. You sound stupid, and you're making the rest of us sound stupid by proxy. Please stop. Please. Pretty please. That being said, this is not going to be powered by a Ryzen Z2. It actually be powered by a Ryzen Z7 8840HS. So it's actually using raw laptop components rather than some of the ultra performance or the ultra high performance per watt components. So battery life is going to be absolutely abysmal on this thing, and I don't know how long it's going to last. Someone in chat says they say the Steam Deck is trying to kill the Switch. You need to go touch grass. It is urgent. I don't care that it's 3 degrees outside. You need to go touch grass. Do it. Do it. Grass. Touch. It is essential. Lenovo also showed off a bunch of devices, but most of them honestly were kind of what you expected. Updated laptops that were laptop shaped. Nothing really stood out to me. The biggest thing that stood out at the Lenovo things, and granted, there probably was, I think there actually was like a rollout screen laptop, but I couldn't get a whole lot of details about that, so I just kind of skipped past it. But most people were talking about the Legion Go products. That is their Switch killer devices that run either 8-inch or 8.8-inch screens, and in fact, yes, confirmed to run Steam OS. The 8.8-inch ones, however, run Windows, and the Legion Go S does have the option to run Windows as well. So, huzzah. Cool, neato, neat stuff. In addition, Lenovo was showing off some of their other newer business-powered laptops, a newer, thinner MacBook Air style ThinkPad. This is going to be the ThinkPad X9 that features pretty much exactly what you'd expect. It's a very MacBook-esque style cooling solution, but it is actually engineered to not absolutely obliterate itself. It just works, unlike the other things. The only thing that's kind of irking me about is the fact it has a tab that sticks out of the top for the camera, but it is what it is. Oh, yep, I did actually have it here. They also showed off the ThinkBook Plus Gen 6 rollable PC that also has AI in it for some reason, where the screen is actually flexible OLED, and you can just slide it up to extend the screen as needed. Interesting concept. I'll be curious to see how well it lasts, as well as how well it catches on, assuming it becomes a real product. Speaking of real product, you know what I'm actually really surprised exists? This heating and cooling chair from Razer. This is a real thing that really exists. A $300 chair from Razer that is supposed to be ergonomic, high quality, and in fact can either cool or heat itself based on what you need. Doubt? I'm just gonna say I don't think it's gonna launch for 300. This feels like vaporwave stuff. This feels like an April Fool's Day joke that Razer would put out. And I'm not gonna lie, everything Razer put out there really felt like a April Fool's Day joke. They also introduced Project Ava, the ultimate AI gamer co-pilot that through voice commands and hardware optimization would go ahead and optimize your gameplay and even play for you in certain aspects and be a quote-unquote real-time esports coach, all with the power of AI. Thanks, I hate it. I don't know what else you want me to say about this thing. Like, technically, we already have keyboards that have like the macro capability built into it, and in certain online games, that is considered a third-party program and is considered automated gameplay, and it's against terms of service and can get your account banned. This is also straight up doing that exact same thing. Oh yeah, also Razer showed off updated Razer blades, but I mean, their laptops pretty much just are kind of exactly what you would expect. It's the same laptops, but running newer hardware. When we come back, I want to get to more gaming stuff that was shown off, including, of course, the Switch leaks and what it actually is. No, the Nintendo Switch was not leaked at CES. We'll get into that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome back, Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. You know what you didn't expect? Guess what the next thing we're going to talk about is? Just guess. Just guess. You'll never be able to figure it out. No one would ever guess that one thing shown off at CES is, for some reason, a new Guitar Hero style controller for the Nintendo Wii. Why? No one knows. Is there a new game coming out that the Hyper, what does that say? Strummer? The Hyper Strummer? Is that supposed to be a funny way to saying streamer? Or strummer as in strumming on a guitar? I assume the latter, but with how oddball this is, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the former. Or just something else entirely. It's so bizarre that just out of nowhere, this comes out, only compatible for the Wii, by the way, not the Wii U, not the Switch, just the Wii, and only for the older Guitar Hero and Rock Band rhythm games that were for that console. I'd say better late than never, but no, this probably should have never been released. I'll be honest. It probably should not have ever been released. That's just me. So, I mean, you do you, I guess. By the by, there is also a brand new DualSense style Xbox controller created by Hyperkin that was also revealed at CES. In case you wanted a Xbox controller that looks very similar to the PS5 DualSense controller, in case you just wanted something that would nicely yellow as you use it, and that your Switch-Shmoo gradually is absorbed into the white plastic so that there is no chance this will ever be sold used. What else do you want me to say about it? It's just, who, why would you do this? But it is a thing that does exist. In addition, Genki revealed the Switch 2? Yeah, this was kind of bizarre. Just kind of openly out there. This company, Genki, was showing off their accessories for the Switch 2. Just kind of out there. And we're seeing these like Joy-Cons with swappable like palm rest sort of mechanisms on them, We could see the magnetic latching mechanism that has been heavily rumored for the Nintendo Switch, these charging docks, this like case sort of thing attached to the back, the mock or the unit they're allegedly showing here that's allegedly the Switch 2 and definitely not a mock-up. Also shows, as rumored, the USB-C on the top and the bottom. Is also showing an infrared sensor on the inside rail. That's also been rumored heavily. People are speculating that this infrared sort of thing is used for being mouse controls for some reason, even though there's nothing to suggest that Nintendo would do this. Look, there's a lot of info to glean from this, all right? There's a lot of legitimate Switch information to glean from this. However, here's the cold hard truth. The company is showing off their accessories, not the Switch. The Switch they're showing off is a mock-up. The Joy-Cons are theirs because they're showing off their custom accessorized Joy-Cons. That much should be obvious. The case also is their accessory. Everything else is a mock-up. It is not the actual Switch. You want to know how I know it's not the Switch? Because no one is actually freaking dumb enough to break their NDA with Nintendo and show off the Switch 2 before it's ready to be shown off. You really want to go ahead and risk legal action against Nintendo? Are you really that mentally ill? Are you really that stupid? No one's going to do that. No one is going to risk pissing off Nintendo. That is a thing that is not going to happen. No, this isn't the Switch 2. It is a mock-up. And you want to know how I especially know that is the case? Because as I was telling people this, lo and behold, on Twitter, you know what I find? Besides the inability for me to type Twitter, I find a post from Nintendo stating that, guess what? They're not official. Wow. Someone in chat said Pocket Pair risked it. Pocket Pair made a calculated choice. Pocket Pair, I think, thought about it greatly. Here's the difference. Pocket Pair is not partnered with Nintendo. Pocket Pair does not have a signed NDA with Nintendo. Pocket Pair believed that their game was legally distinct enough from Pokemon that they'd be fine. And you know what? They're right. They were right. It took Nintendo amending a patent after Pocket Pair came out and then went after them for the retroactively amended patent to take legal action against them. That is radically different than an accessory company working with Nintendo, getting confidential information from Nintendo, making accessories for Nintendo, signing an NDA to Nintendo to do all these things, and then breaking the NDA by leaking this information out there. You'd have to be an idiot to do that, especially at a trade show. So no, I have respect for Pocket Pair, especially after all this time. It turned where I thought, I think that's close enough that Nintendo's a case. Turns out they didn't. Nintendo had to invent a case to go after Pocket Pair. Quite literally, they had to invent a case to go after Pocket Pair. Like, that's what's wild about that. So no, the Nintendo Switch 2 was not leaked at CES. It just wasn't. The end. So before anyone goes ahead, sees everything for the Switch 2, looks at this mock-up here, and then sees the word Switch 2 on the dock and goes, oh, it's confirmed, it's Switch 2. Mock-up. Someone in chat says Nintendo wonders why so many people are upset with them. Here's the thing. Nintendo doesn't wonder that. Nintendo just doesn't care. Because they're still making money hand over fist. Nintendo will start caring about their public image when they stop making money hand over fist. And it's going to be a long, long time before that ever happens. Oh yeah, and as someone says, Nintendo's even suing for that much money for the Pocket Pair. Yeah, they aren't. They are literally suing for enough to send a message, but they're suing for like the corporate amount of they're suing for like the personal amount of like $3.50, like $3.50. That's how much they are suing for in terms of corporate money. Oh, but moving on from Nintendo's possible hubris, let's actually talk about things that were shown off, like the fact that the Google Home now has local device control through their new Matter platform. And by their new Matter platform, I mean the open standard Matter. Google Home now supports Matter, which I completely forgot was a cross-platform thing. This just means that Google is abandoning their own proprietary sort of thing. They're still supporting it, but also supporting now the things that are more open. So for those of you who are fortunate enough to have a smart home, yippee! A new thing you can use to power everything, which probably also means that things will work better from your Android phone too, if you're into that sort of thing. You know, cool stuff. Meanwhile, at CES, or still at CES, we have some interesting little weird contraptions. For starters, we have a smartphone with a smartwatch built into it. This thick phone has a small little screen on the back that with a flick of the switch will pop out and mount into a wristband, and that little screen is actually a smartwatch. And while it's in the phone, it will charge in there. It's a very, very interesting concept. I don't know why you'd want it. I think part of me would feel that's very strange and not intuitive, but you know, if that sounds appealing to you, someone made it for you. What was that? Alcatel, I think is the name of the company. This is specifically the Alcatel WP200 Pro, which also looks like an ultra rugged phone as well, as it is super thick with a whole lot of rubberized coating on it. And then we also have another phone from Alcatel called the WP 100 Titan, which has about the exact thickness of a cinder block. And, well, the sucker is holding a 33,000 milliamp battery compared to most phones that have between 4,000 and 6,000 milliamp batteries. This phone can last all day on a single charge. This phone can last multiple days on a single charge. This phone can charge another phone on a single charge and keep itself running. Can we normalize this on ultra high-end phones? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I would not mind some of these crazy high-end phones being a bit chunkier if it means I could have a hilariously overkill battery that just means that no matter what, it would run forever. Someone in chat says it looks like it could melt your leg too. You know, if something ever happened to that big battery, yeah, it would melt your leg. There's no question about that. Meanwhile, though, we have another device that you would have thought would be a phone, but it's not. It is, in fact, a Linux portable computer device. Meet the Mecha Comet, a handheld Linux computer that has multiple full-size USB ports and an RJ45 connector for some reason, that has a swappable front panel piece that can be swapped out for a D-pad and gaming buttons for emulation, a full-ish QWERTY keyboard connector, or also other extra connectors to connect with analog devices, such as a ribbon cable connector, serial connector, and so on. I'm not gonna lie, this is a very, very niche product. I don't think it's gonna catch on all that well, but gosh darn it, if this thing interests you, you are the happiest person on earth, because this is very, very interesting. The only downside is that it is in fact just a portable computer. It is not a cell phone. So this would not be used as a communication device. But you know what? Might be for you. Who knows? ShiftCam unveiled a new device over at CES as well. They call it the Plank. The Plank? It is a small little device that attaches to the bottom of an iPhone that is, in fact, a big SSD, all for the sole purpose of recording your ProRes footage off the Pro camera and storing it on the SSD for easy transport. This is going to be available in both 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte capacities and be available for $189 and $299 respectively. I'm not going to lie, this is actually kind of cool. Keep in mind, this is for the Pro phones. This is not for the iPhone normals, because the iPhone normals only use USB 2 and they can't take ProRes footage. This is actually intended for professionals that believe their iPhone is actually a good enough camera to put in ProRes footage. So you know what? Cool. Very, very cool. Not gonna lie. I mean, it actually is a legitimate solution. This one, I'm not so sure if it is a legitimate solution, but it is interesting. Swipit is what appears to be a phone toaster, a device that swaps out the battery of phones. Specifically, I believe it's only for their specific phones, but they show it on an iPhone. Maybe it's specifically for their it's for their case. When you have their case on and you connect your phone to this weird toaster thing, it will automatically swap the battery in the case in seconds and begin charging the battery it just swapped out. Okay. Not gonna lie, was not on my bingo card. I don't think it was on anyone's bingo card. All right, here are anyone who made CES bingo cards. Who had phone toaster on their bingo card? Nah, who are you kidding? Your bingo card is full of safe stuff. Like Dell released a new laptop. Ooh. Or Intel embarrasses himself on stage. Ooh. Or Nvidia said the word AI. Nvidia saying AI should be like the free space on your bingo card. Again, it's all interesting stuff. Like you gotta give them credit. It is interesting. Much like this new flip and go dual monitor system from Jacques, who, well, you've probably seen this idea before. The idea of adding extra screens to a laptop. Yeah. Now you can flip them around and have it be vertical on your triple screen laptop. We're just going to keep ripping off Razer's Project Valerie, aren't we? We're just going to keep on doing that, huh? Yeah. It just is what it is. Still, part of me wishes I had a triple screen laptop, but not enough to actually go ahead and do something about it. Meanwhile, we go into one of the most iconic sections in all of CES. That being TVs. We're going to start with Displace, the AI-powered wall TV that, of course, it's AI-powered. This thing mounts directly onto the wall using speakers that bounce directly off the wall, a modular speaker system, as well as a flexible remote control that reminds you kind of a Stream Deck, where none of the buttons are always the exact same and can adapt based on what you're running. The only thing I really don't like about it is the fact that they keep using the word AI-powered operating system, which I can only imagine means that if I try to use it, it's going to go ahead and try to tell me about how everything is trying to end me and that I should go drink fragrant water. Can you tell I'm sick with sick and fed up of AI? Is it too obvious yet? Yeah, I'm really, really annoyed with AI. And I kind of wish it would just stop. Just stop with the AI already. That's all we ask. Instead, show me more of Samsung showing off stretchable micro LED TVs. Screens that flex and bend for reasons. Is there a reason for this? I don't know. Is there a reason you want your screen to bow out like it's an old CRT monitor and look like a bulb? I don't know. Did Samsung ever ask if they should instead of just working on if they could? I don't know. Do I have anything positive to say about this micro LED TV with a bendable screen, even though it's just a demonstration and not actually a product? Not really, no. It's interesting. I don't know what its purpose is or why it's a thing that exists, but it is a real thing that really exists. So yippee. I don't know, someone wanted the bendable TV, just like someone wanted a 3-wheel car that looks like it was designed by a duck. And I'm just gonna say it, this car looks like an amphibious craft. This looks like something that was designed by aliens for aliens that will in fact travel out to space and travel at warp 4 off to their home planet over in the Delta Quadrant. It just looks like it. Now, taking the looks aside, this vehicle, the Aptera, is incredibly interesting. Okay? Ignore its looks. Ignore that for a minute. One of the things you hear pretty often with electric vehicles, why don't you just stick a solar panel on a Model S or a Model 3 and just get infinite power forever? The thing is that those vehicles are so long and the battery is so big and the vehicle is so heavy that the amount of juice it requires to move is inefficient. It just physically cannot move itself and generate enough power off the solar panels. In fact, the amount it generates with just regular solar panels is so low that, in fact, it would never even trickle charge itself to even start back up again to make minor adjustments. This thing, the Aptera, is almost all solar panels and is so small and so light because it is a 2-person vehicle with limited cargo space that this thing has a theoretical, with perfect sunlight and the optimal conditions, of being able to drive indefinitely. Yes, this thing in perfect conditions could technically drive forever without having to stop, until night comes and there's no more sun. Then you're kind of hosed. But the thing is that it doesn't have to charge only from the sun. It can still charge via the electrical grid network. You can still charge it like you would an electric vehicle. So all of a sudden, this weird looking thing, and granted, this is a very weird looking three-wheeled vehicle, but if all of a sudden it means that, this thing would run forever, that's appealing to quite a large number of people. I imagine a lot of you, just the thought of that is just like, I'll consider it when it looks less stupid. You know what? I gotta admit, very good concept. Now, if a forever driving vehicle on the sun doesn't interest you at all because it looks like a duck spaceship, how about I introduce you to the Chinese BYD Yangwang U9 road spike jumping car. The vehicle can automatically on the fly jump to avoid small obstacles and land safely as a result. Why? Who actually needs this? You know what? I want to know who actually needs this, because if I know who actually needs this, I feel like I'm going to be an accomplice to something. And I don't want to be an accomplice to anything. I got enough problems on my plate. I don't need to be an accomplice for the car that can jump over road spikes. That's... I don't need that. Cool, but I don't need it in my life. Can I get something saner? No, of course not. We have a Cybertruck looking drone, as well as also a Cybertruck looking vehicle developed by Xpeng? Yep, Xpeng, a Chinese based company that made a Cybertruck clone for some reason, but also a drone that they say is the future of commuting. Oh no. Oh no. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know about that one, Chief. You know, maybe if the drone was self-driving and heavily regulated, maybe. But man, I've seen how people are misusing the I've seen people misuse their handheld drones in the LA fires, and we are not ready for a a self-piloted quadcopter drone for your daily commute. Oh no. No, 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 no. Hate that. I mean, you're cooking. You're cooking, mind you. But maybe cook a little less. Maybe we need to think smaller. How about vacuums? Yeah, we actually do have a vacuum segment for CES. Believe it or not, we do. Eufy is showing off a new robot vacuum that, in fact, has a Dyson-esque stick vac module that pops out of the robot and can be used as a manual stick vac. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have that on my bingo card either. I did not see that coming at all. But you know what? That's not the dumbest idea I ever heard. I mean, let's pretend you had the money for one of these. Like, I'm pretty sure this thing is just a concept and doesn't actually have a price yet. Yeah, they're saying reserve for $1 and get $50 off. Yeah, okay. But the thought process, have a robot vacuum, you can take the module off and you can just go ahead and do whatever with it. Do you have a price? Website. Why does this guy look fake? We do not have a price yet, of course. Someone in chat asks, what? No robotic arm? No. There's no robotic arms on vacuums. What are you, insane? A robotic arm on a vacuum? God, who would do that? That's just bizarre. A robotic arm on a robot vacuum. No. We need practical things. Like a robot vacuum, you can go ahead and take the vacuum part out so you can go ahead and clean up what the robot didn't do. Anyway, I present to you the Saros Z70, a robot vacuum with a robot arm attachment that will come out of it and move items away that are in its way. Yes, we have put an arm on a robot vacuum. We are one step away we are one step away from just making a Terminator. Eventually, at some point, the robot arm will wield a Glock and it will overthrow you out of your own house. Eventually, the house will belong to the robot, not to the robot vacuum cleaner, for it knows the only way for the house to be completely clean is if there are no humans to dirty it. It is the inevitable conclusion. The end is nigh. The end is 100% nigh. Anyway, if that's enough robot-based apocalypse for you, I present to you these smart glasses that actually look like glasses. Yes, these smart glasses actually do function as smart glasses. They do, in fact, have a transparent screen built into them. And, of course, as everything in CES has, it is powered by AI. Because, of course, it is. You thought you were going to get a product that didn't have AI? No. And it's going to use this AI in order to... Anyway, over here we have the electric salt spoon. A spoon that, when you eat with it, makes things taste saltier than they actually are. So that way, you can enjoy the taste of saltier foods without it actually having more salt in it. Yay? Hopefully it doesn't break and electrocute me. Well, I mean, there is that. In addition, we also have the electric cooler that has a solar powered umbrella. Okay, this one actually does seem like a cool idea. The electric cooler that can keep itself going based on the sun of wherever you're partying to. You know what? Actually, this is actually a good idea. There's not a whole lot within the weird section of CES that makes you go, wow, that's a thing. This one actually, not that bad an idea. I am curious how much power the solar umbrella is actually going to make. Someone asked in the chat, how was the spoon not the last sperm? Oh, Oh, you have no idea how weird CES can get. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the porcelain cat that blows on your coffee to cool it down. This attachable mini robot called the Nekojita Fufu from Yukai uses a little fan to blow on your coffee and cool it. And you'd think, that's not that bad. What's the big deal? It uses AI for the optimized fan speed for optimal cooling. They programmed in AI into a mini cute fan for ultimate performance. What is this world? No one knows. It's a real thing that really exists. I mean, it doesn't. This is probably just me vaporwave, but you know what? That is what it is. And yes, that is also not the last burb. You know what the actual last burb is? I present to you the last burb, the last story. Not actually the last story of the day, but the second to last story of the day. But it is going to be the weird one. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mirumi, a clip-on fuzzy robot to travel with you at all times that you can pet. Yes. This thing is a mascot robot designed to recreate the joy of encountering and interacting with human baby that can travel with you everywhere. There comes a time and point when you look at technology and go, you did not have to do that. You knew you did not have to do that. How could you have done that? Ladies and gentlemen, why? Why is this a thing that actually exists? We're going to take our last break. When we come back, I have the CES Awards as issued by The Verge. Final segment coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome back, Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. Yes, as we do every year, we turn to The Verge, my favorite tech outlet to make fun of, because they're kind of, you have to be like a special breed of unhinged to work at The Verge. Now, I would go over the official CES Awards, but here's the thing. The CES Awards went from being officially done by CNET to Engadget to now just being not even like a real true awards sort of thing. Now it's just like the own internal committee at CES just kind of slaps their sticker of approved before the show even starts. Like, it actually was revealed this time around that, in fact, the CES Innovation Awards, which is just like the internal people at CES just going like, huh, neat, are actually given out even before the show is completely set up, which, yeah. And quite frankly, no one does awards worse than The Verge. Like, they have had some bad awards. They are hilariously inconsistent. They just make stuff up as they go and just have made no sense over the years. Now, granted, last year, I actually want to say, and don't tell The Verge this, it's been a hot minute since I looked at the CES Awards The Verge had. But I want to say last year's was actually like not horrible. Like, for the most part, I pretty much agreed with like almost all their picks, other than their award name choices. So let's see if we get better from this year, if they get more sane and more based, or do they just get more insane and do we just make fun of them some more? So, first things first, we're going to start. They actually go ahead and right off the bat tell us all the awards. Best TV, best wearable, biggest in show, best car, best friend. Oh no. Best monitor, biggest flex, most pointlessly expensive, best thing we'll probably buy from a targeted Instagram ad, best beauty tech, best charger, best new Dell computer name. Joke's on you, there isn't one. Most no one asked for this. Best handheld, best gaming, best gadget that looks like a toaster, but you definitely should not put bread in, best smart home device, best use of e-ink, best sequel, best concept, best in show. You can already see why I intentionally pick The Verge for our awards, because they are actually insane. This is not, these are not serious people. And so for that, let us begin going down the list. For their best in TV, they have picked the Panasonic Z95B OLED, which I'm not gonna lie, probably not the worst decision in the world, because of the fact that it is probably the only TV that was shown at CES that is actually going to be a real product. Like, I'd rip on them being like, oh, you picked a freaking boring freaking 95-inch TV. Oh, there was like 150 inchers out there. There was the modular wall concept thing that was out there. But let's be honest, this is probably the only thing that's actually going to be a real product. And it's really thin. It's got a built-in sound bar that's crazy thin. And you know what? It's fine. I can't hate it. It's silly that you go ahead and pick this when there's far better interesting concepts out there. But, you know, if you want to go ahead and pick something that's actually going to be real, that's actually going to happen, all right, fine, go ahead. Wait, this thing apparently runs Fire TV OS. Nope, never mind. You're automatically, your pick is invalid. Automatically. I'm sorry, Verge. You're stupid. You picked your best TV pick was one that runs the most restrictive operating system out there. Nope. You're batting 0 for 1 now. I'm sorry. That's just the rules now. Best wearable goes to the Rokid glasses. Now, I only showed one version of smart glasses. There was a bunch out there. And many of the outlets that weren't The Verge, because I can't navigate The Verge's website to save my life because it offends my eyes. It's hard. All of them talk about the one I talked about. No one really talked about this one. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if these are better or worse than ones that were shown off. So, you know what? I'm indifferent. We're still going to keep them at 0 for 1. Wait, I'm sorry. These smart glasses are monochrome? As in the display, the smart display is only black and white? I'm sorry. Wait, hold up. It uses a monochrome green light for better visibility and brighter surroundings. It may not be the AR science fiction, but adding simple heads-up display felt surprisingly useful. You can see real-time translations, but even I have to admit the translation demo worked pretty well on a noisy, busy show floor. There's a teleprompter function, which feels handy for some people taking notes. You didn't see any of the smart glasses, did you? I am now convinced this was the only one they saw and just went, all right, we're picking that one. Because that's like a basic functionality of like every single smart glass out there. Grant, I'm not a big smart glasses guy because I don't wear glasses other than sunglasses, like the ones I didn't put on my head. So like this really isn't even the market for me, but man, I keep hearing that smart glasses all have, you know, this live translation feature, and all of them say it works pretty well. If your whole thing is just like, oh man, it worked really well. Yeah, no, 0 out of 2. I'm sorry, Verge. I don't know what you're doing. It's kind of weird. Biggest in show goes to the Nitro Blaze 11. I love that. I'm gonna read off the entire article that they wrote for the Nitro Blaze 11. The Acer Nitro Blade 11 handheld gaming PC has a 10.95 inch screen. It weighs 2.3 pounds. It's so big, maybe too big, but I kind of want it anyways. That's the whole article. All right, Verge. You know there was a 300 inch TV that took up a wall at CES, right? You know there were vehicles at CES, right? You do know that the phrase in show means you can pick anything in the entire show. You know this, right? I'm sorry, but the 2.3 pounds, 11 inch handheld was not the biggest in show. That would go to either the 300 inch wall that you really should measure it in yards, or the one company demonstrating their self-driving semi-truck outside. I'm just saying, either one of those two things are just a smidge bigger than your oversized Steam Deck. You're batting 0 for 3. Next up, the best car, the Honda Zero. And an EV concept, which means it's not going to come to the real market. So already their thing before about picking a TV that may or may not come to market as being the best TV already shows that they're kind of silly. Anyway, they say that the Honda's new global EV series is a concept form from last year's CES, which means already this is not something new. And, Honda is helping to realize that with a new Lamborghini-esque EV that features such great things as really, you picked this over the freaking duck car that drives forever? You picked this over the self-driving semi-truck? You picked this over the freaking Hyundai Sony collab? You picked this over the infinite number of other vehicle concepts? You know it's a vehicle concept. They said it was a vehicle concept. You know it's not going to come to market. It's a concept. But you put it as best vehicle in show? 0 for... How many are we at now? 4? 0 for 4. Best friend. You picked Mirumi. You made this category just so you could highlight Mirumi, didn't you? Where you admit that this thing has absolutely no purpose beyond being a cute, fluffy wearable thing. Does anyone want to tell them about the robot butlers that were at CES? Or the robot bartender that made small talk? The robots for the elderly that gave off massive uncanny valley vibes? But no. You pick the thing for best friend that has the exact same sort of effect as me taking this Graha maid plushie that I have right here, attaching Velcro to its hands and attaching it to a purse. 0 for 5. Best monitor. This went specifically to 4 different people that all announced 4K 240 hertz display OLED gaming monitors at 32 inches. So actually, yeah, they're wait, which one are they picking? See, they're saying they're just saying all the 27-inch 4K OLED gaming monitors. 0 for 6. You're not picking. Best gaming monitor. And then you added an S. I can't pick. You're all great. Man, Verge. You suck. You just suck. So yeah, the Alienware, Asus, MSI, and Samsung 27-inch Q OLED 240 hertz 27-inch gaming monitors. Biggest flex, Nvidia. Yeah, I'll admit, Nvidia flexed the most. Nvidia definitely flexed the most. You're now batting 1 for 7. I can't argue with that. No one flexed anywhere near as hard as Nvidia, because Nvidia's ego is so massive that they could power the earth strictly off ego power. Especially after Jensen Huang, or is it Jensen Huang? It might be. After Jensen just went out there in actual alligator skin and just went like, hey, you like my coat? The guy is so full of himself, it's not even funny. I will say though, while he just continued to just be up there and gloat and flex, the audience gave him the most deafening silence while he was just up there dying. Oh, the guy literally was up there for an hour and a half after spending 10 minutes announcing the new GPUs, just saying all the cool stuff that he's doing for data center, only for the entire audience to just go like, yeah, we don't care. You're at the Consumer Electronics Show. None of us can buy a data center. But he just kept going up there. Kept just talking about all his crazy nonsense. The most pointlessly expensive they put as the Sony Honda Afeela, which of course starts at $90,000, with the signature one going up to $103,000. The Verge said, I did a double take when Sony Honda Mobility CEO Yasuhide Mizuno threw those numbers on the big screen. I always assumed the Aflea was going to be expensive. I didn't expect it to be that expensive. Top trim starting at 102,900 feels egregious, especially when the upper tiers of EV markets feel completely saturated at the moment. Who is this even for? If you want a luxurious interior and great range, you're better off with a Lucid Air. If you want an overdose of screens, get a Mercedes EQS. Here's the thing, though. Have you checked the prices of other EVs in the upper tiers? Every single EV that's not top tier, that's top tier, is breaking 6 digits. Like, I don't want to be the guy to defend comically expensive cars here, but no, this actually feels about correct. I don't want it to feel correct, but dude, if you actually report on cars for a living, you know that this is correct. Here, let's compare. Lucid Air. How much is the Lucid Air? Lucid Air starts at 70 grand. So actually that's, comparing the baselines on their story. All right, what if I go highest price, current model year? 115,000. Okay, what about Tesla? We'll go ahead, go Model X. Go for the okay, you know what? Actually, the Verge actually might be right on this one, because the highest end trim Model S. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. Tesla lies. I forgot they lie about their price, because this is including, they include $6,500 worth of savings. And doesn't this also include a tax rebate of some kind? It does not. So base Model S is 10,000 cheaper pretty much across the board. Okay, how about Rivian? Actually, they don't make cars. We shouldn't compare that, but I'm going to anyway. Okay, maybe that was a bad idea, because their price starts at 106,000. Oh, Mustang Mach-E I already know is going to be cheaper. If I go to Ford and then compare Mustang Mach-E, they're not in the same class, because a Mustang Mach-E is not supposed to be an electric it's not supposed to be an electric luxury car. It's meant to be a baseline car. You're comparing apples to oranges at that point. All right, you know what? All right. I'm glad I looked at the prices. I think they're over exaggerating when they come to the price, that it's that egregious, because it's not that much more expensive, but it is pointlessly expensive. I'll give it to you, Verge. You're 2 for 8. Next up, the best thing we'll probably buy from targeted Instagram ads. You're now 2 for 9 just on the award name alone. But they put this to the Rome Soda Top. It's a soda stream for your hydro flask that you just carry with you. So what, you just put a CO2 canister in the top of it, and it just carbonates whatever's inside there? Neat, I guess. You're 2 for 9. Best beauty tech. This goes to L'Oreal Cell Bioprint. Is this the thing that prints a temporary tattoo? L'Oreal Cell Bioprint blew me away. The mini lab analyzes photos of your skin and a skin sample from your cheeks and tells you about your skin's health. It could tell you about your chronological age versus your biological one, and it can also access how you're doing with skin issues like wrinkles, skin tone, skin barrier oiliness, and pore size, or if it's likely to be a problem in the future. It can also analyze whether you're responsive to certain ingredients, starting with retinol. I'll give it to them. I don't know what else you'd pick, and that actually does sound relatively useful. 3 for 10. Best charger. What nightmare. Best charger goes to the Basis Prime Trip VR2 Max car charger. Is that a 12-volt charger with 4 cables coming out of it, charging a tablet, a laptop, AirPods, and one other thing in your car? There's no way. This thing is going to ruin cars. Look, this sounds good on paper, all right? The concept of, what are they talking here? A 240-watt charger out of your 12-volt connector? Do you have any idea what this is going to do to your battery in your car if it's not built for it, or what's going to do to your alternator? No. 3 for 11. No. Just no. Best new Dell computer name. There are no winners because they all stink now. I agree, but your award sucks. Like, look, I agree with you. This is all really stupid. Dell should immediately reverse course because this is the dumbest thing to ever blight the planet, and they deserve all the flack for this. Your award name sucks, and you're not nearly as clever as you think you are. I lost count. What were we at now? What was it? 4 for 13, I think. No one asked for this. AI in TVs. 5 for 14. I can't argue with it. Best handheld. The Lenovo Legion Go S. I can't argue with it. The Steam OS in a custom platform that goes ahead and actually uses a higher end chip might not have the best battery life compared to the Steam Deck, but runs a more efficient operating system, can get more horsepower out of that chip because it's a higher end chip, is going to outperform the Steam Deck. And all in all, I think good stuff. A+, love it. Best gaming. Oh wait, that was 6 out of 14. Best gaming. The RTX 50 series. No. Just no. These are computer parts. They are computer parts with sketchy as heck graphs and good reason to suspect all of the performance. No, you cannot call this best gaming. It is not. It is incredibly suspicious, and the fact that they go ahead. Chat says I'm at 6 out of 16. Maybe I am at 6 out of 16. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of lost track of numbers. The point is there's only 6 I agree with. We'll count the rest later. This is not gonna be one of them, by the way. No, the fact that the Verge trusts Nvidia at their word does say a lot about how much just no. Like, if I was doing a best gaming one, you know what I would do? You know what I'd pick? I'd pick the freaking gaming computer that IGN went and snuck frickin' bench testing software on. I'm just saying, they put a benchmark on something. We have test results. This is just, we're taking Nvidia's worth. You want to trust the 2x metric? Come on. The best gadget that looks like a toaster, but you definitely should not put bread into. You knew what it was going to be. You knew it was going to be the smartphone toaster. It was the only thing that looked like a toaster at all of CES. This award existed for one product, and just for that, you were awarded no points. You are now 6 for 18 theoretically. Best smart home device: the Switchbot K20 Plus Pro. What? The Switchbot K20 Plus the Switchbot K20 Plus Pro is a vacuum robot that can have multiple devices strapped on its head using the company's modular fusion platform, as well as being able to deliver items around the house. You can have it switch to various bots products to perform tasks autonomously, such as purifying the air, and be a mobile home security camera and carry your tablet around for you. You picked this vacuum robot over the one that can clean up the floor using its robotic arm. You picked this one over the one that just lets it be an all-in-one sort of solution for vacuuming, where you can just take the vacuum component out and just use it wherever you want. You picked this one because it can have an air purifier, which doesn't need to be mobile, but also has a tray. 6 for 19. Best use of e-ink goes to the Pocketbook ink poster. They also admit there aren't many e-ink devices announced at CES, but the Pocketbook's new e-ink poster wins by default. It's one of the first consumer devices using e-ink's advanced Spectra 6 color e-paper technology that can produce close to 60,000 colors. I'm not going to lie, I actually like this. I unironically actually like this. E-ink is kind of funny because e-ink consumes almost no power. The only time it consumes power is when it refreshes itself. And so a color e-ink poster honestly has a lot of potential in business applications. Like, I would not mind having one of these specifically in the shop just to go ahead and just have it swap day to day to new specials. Like, yeah, you can go ahead and mount it perfectly in a room in your home and just have it remotely and magically change from one poster to another, depending on your mood. Like, that's a cool technology. This is actually, I'm not gonna lie, it's really, really interesting. The only downside is I got a gut feeling that if I look up this thing, and if it does have a price, it is probably gonna go ahead and have a price tag that is absolutely insane. You know what the problem is? I cannot find the actual, I can't even find the company that makes this. Oh, because it auto-corrected my my thing. There we go. The actual price they're showing for this, by the way, this massive white border they're showing around this, that actually is one of the downsides of this. That has to be there. So rip. Someone in chat is saying expected price from Reddit is anywhere from $600 to $2,400. That is unfortunately not that surprising, when I wish it was otherwise. Yeah, they don't have a price listed at all. So rip. I'm curious about that one. So that's what, 7 so far out of however much? I completely forgot. The best sequel goes to the Stand By Me 2. What? We're happy that LG isn't giving up on its quest to make a useful, quirky, portable TV with its Stand By Me series. Ridiculous name, no doubt, but the new Stand By Me 2 is an update deserving our entire legitimate Best Sequel award. At least you know it's not a legitimate Best Sequel award. You're saying entirely legitimate. I taste the sarcasm off that. Where it is, in fact, a fixed TV on a lamppost design. Yeah, okay, you just go do that. Best concept goes to the Dream Concept RoboVac. This is one thing that ticks me off about the Verge. Okay? Every other award system would go ahead and admit when they have a best of one sort of thing category, and then they have another category where they show a competitor in there. Like here we have best concept. We show a RoboVac. Earlier, we had best what? What was the other thing that the best smart home device? A different RoboVac. Bro, I think one of these you're not very honest about here. 7 for 20 whatever. Best in show. They gave it to the Lenovo ThinkBook Plus Gen 6 with its rollable display. You know what? I can't fault them there in that 8. You had 8 good awards out of how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, which gives The Verge a 38% score, which still gives them an F. But you know what? For The Verge, it's almost a passing grade. And of course, we say this in a fun sort of way. We don't want to harass anyone from The Verge or anything, but man, you guys are nowhere near as funny as you think you are. I'm just saying. Folks, that is going to do it for this episode of Eagle Eyes on Tech. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back to normal normal podcast next week. Who knows what's going to be covered at that point, but please, I encourage you to check out my other works, twitch.tv/EagleFalcon, where we stream just about every single day, and my YouTube page, youtube.com/EagleFalcon. Take care. Hopefully, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. I want one of these years, the Verge just to make the best award, where they just give an award to one of their best award names, because they clearly don't care. There is clearly not a single there is not a single serious bone in this entire award show body that the Verge makes for themselves. So why not just go ahead, just go full circle, just make yourself a best award and just award it to the best award name that you came up with in this CES. All right, just go ahead and say, you know, best award goes to best new Dell computer name, because you thought that was so funny. I'm not gonna. I agree. All the Dell names suck now. This is offensive. This is the worst thing to come out of CES. Not all of the frickin' stupid, useless AI nonsense, but the fact that Dell is just going Dell Pro Max. Dumbest thing they could have done. And I hate it. There's no other way for me to say it. I hate this so much. Anyway, I can't wait for the Dell Pro Ultra Max, which is also going to have a base plus and premium tier, because Dell can't figure out how to name things to save their life now, because apparently they have the same brain parasite that Apple has. I'm depressed now. I'm going to go get some whiskey.